Welcome back to Rebelize Change, where we talk about starting over, staying motivated, and embracing the beauty of change. I'm Christian.
And I'm Paula. And today we're going to dive into the topic that's close to both of our hearts: resilience, especially how resilience plays a role when you're starting over in life.
Yeah, and starting over can look like so many things, right? Like career shifts, relationships, health challenges, or just deciding to live life differently. But one thing's for sure, it requires that R word, resilience. So let's set the stage. Resilience is often seen as this big, tough word, right? But to me, it's simply the ability to bend without breaking and to find your forward even when things feel heavy.
Yeah, I love that. And I think it's important we remind our listeners that resilience isn't about never falling down. It's about what you do after. So, how you get back up. That's what resilience is.
So let's talk about what resilience really is. A lot of people think it means you never struggle or you always bounce back right away, and that's not real life.
Real resilience looks messy. For example, when we started this podcast, this idea, we were so excited and we're working on it every day. And we're like, nothing can stop us. And then I made this big move to a different city, different state. And I had a lot of bumps in the road here. And I mean, it happens when you're moving across the state like that. And then it was this other thing that, we didn't think of: the time change. It's not a lot, but a 3-hour time difference is a big deal, especially when we have such very different schedules.
Oh, hold on. Pause that for a second. I just want to
Yeah.
point out the differences. So if you look at this little sliver right here, that's nighttime for me. That's nighttime. Hey, Nate, and like, look at you. You here?
I'm like, I think I have too much light coming in from the side.
Exactly. Nighttime, daytime, nighttime, daytime. So yeah, the time difference.
Well, no, but like in the beginning, we didn't think it was going to be that big of a deal, that 3-hour time difference. And it was a big deal. And then our schedules kept changing,
Yeah.
me because of work, you because also work, but going back to school. Like, it's just, there was a lot of things, and it's taken us a couple months to be able to sit down and record again.
And here we are.
Here we are in the middle of the week. I'm in complete daylight.
It's you and
Complete nighttime.
definitely,
But those are one of the things. I mean, it's not a big, it wasn't like, it can mean resilience can look like many things, but I mean, that's one of the examples that I can think of right now.
yeah, definitely been there. For me, resilience
Yeah.
showed up after feeling stuck in both my career and life. And as you know, we've had deep conversations about what am I going to do next in life, right? Like trying to figure out what I was going to do next in my life and how I was planning to get there. It just didn't feel pretty. The process never feels good or pretty. Sometimes you feel stuck. Sometimes you feel confused because you question everything, right? But I feel like a lot of it is just all part of growth. It's not this linear process of when you want to go from point A to point B. Sometimes it takes you on a different path altogether where you got to learn. You got to learn the icky stuff to get there. You got to stop and maybe figure out, okay, am I taking the right path, the right way, or the right course of action for that thing that I want to do? So, yeah, absolutely. It could be all of that, but it is all part of growth.
It definitely is. So for me, resilience also has showed up not only in this big move, but even before here, I did have a huge career change after COVID. I've been a makeup artist my whole life. And during COVID, I went back to school. I decided to follow one of my biggest dreams, which was to study psychology. I went back to school and I did psychology, and then I found behavior analysis, and I loved it too. And I love working with kids. So I started working with children, teaching art after school. And little by little, I just found this new career, and I became a RBT, and I love it so much. And I did that for a little bit before I moved here. And now here I'm an RBT full time as well, and I love it so much. I do want to go back to school and get my master's and hopefully do that. But it has, there's bumps in the road. It hasn't been easy. And, sometimes I'm like, I want to do this, and I have it all mapped out. But you have to, learn to take it one day at a time and take care of yourself in the process, because you can't wear yourself down as you're trying to get there either.
So it's less about being tough, but more about being gentle with yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, also you also be tough because you want to get there, even though you are probably super tough and you are going to get there. You have to take it day by day and be gentle and have lots of self-care, which is very, very, very important.
Being resilient, excuse me, is about being human. I mean, we're all, I think at any stage in our lives or careers or whatever, we're all tested. So to have resilience or to build
Definitely.
resilience, in my opinion, is to be human, right?
Yeah, very true. And connecting resilience with starting over, I see resilience like a spring, like bouncing up and down, back and forth. And it's like when you get to the bottom, you jump back up. Like it's like starting over. Probably hit a rock bottom, or maybe you weren't rock bottom, but you weren't happy with something and you hit a point where you start again.
And that usually comes with fear and self-doubt and like that negative inner voice saying you can't do this, that inner critic.
The inner critic. Yeah. The inner critic is the one that can be really loud. So when you listen to the most, you listen to yourself more than you listen to other people, and you don't realize it sometimes that you're, trying to get advice, but you're always listening to the inner critic. You shouldn't be doing this, so you can't do this. What helps resilience is what helps us quiet that voice long enough to take one step forward.
Yeah, starting over is not just about the grit, right? And again, how tough you are. You just talked about having that toughness, but sometimes it's about a little bit of that self-compassion. And you talked about that. And like it can show up in form of self-care, but that self-compassion, the same things that I will tell you, because you're my friend and I'm encouraging you to like to just be, to just do your best. Like that's how I should talk to myself. Ideally, right? That's what that self-compassion piece looks like. The same way that I would talk to you, encouraging you and seeing all these amazing things about you, I need to flip that and say those things to myself
To
as well.
yourself. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had to practice that a lot when I went back to school. It had that inner critic that whole like the whole time, like you're too old for this, like you're gonna walk into the classroom, people are gonna
That's
be
kind of where I'm
looking.
at right now, to be
Yeah.
honest. Yeah.
And in the beginning, it was a little bit hard, and yeah, I have a lot of anxiety, so it's even worse to walk into the room and to feel like you're like the oldest one there. It's basically on your mind most of the time because no one's paying attention to what you're doing. Nobody really gives a crap. And I did it. There was times where I was, I don't know if I could do this, and here we are. But yeah, it's sometimes hard to quiet that critic. Also, when sometimes it's even fueled by people that are very close to you. So you have to be careful.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, same. And I'm going to say this for anyone listening. I want to say this: resilience is a skill. It's not a personality trait. Some people feel like you're born weak. Some people are just born stronger than others. No, everyone has a point where where resilience is built. So again, it's
Definitely.
skill, not a personality trait. You can learn it, practice it, and strengthen it just like a muscle.
Yeah, definitely. And there's definitely ways to practice and to get better at it. So let's talk about that.
Yes, absolutely. Here are a few that have actually worked for me. Okay.
Yeah.
So obviously we touched on practice and self-compassion. This was huge. I've had to learn to talk to myself the way I would a good friend. Again, I think of it, I think about like you when sometimes you come to me and you're feeling frustrated and you just need a sounding board or
Yep.
we talk through each other about the setbacks and all that stuff. The same advice I would give to you, that's how I'm starting to return that to myself. Just be that voice of self-compassion. And I say to myself, okay, this is hard. I am a human. I'm not gonna get it the first time. Okay, what's the next step? The next one is creating daily routines. this, and I'm going to have to thank you for this because I really got into having a planner, a daily planner.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
So I used to do them before, but I got away from them and I would just do everything like on my notes app or my calendar. But I'm like, nah, I feel like writing everything down has become a part of my daily routine. All those simple habits make a difference. For me, it looks like consistent sleep, writing in my planner, moving my body, even if it's a short walk or taking those mindfulness breaks. It doesn't have to be an hour of meditation because we both have agreed that we're we're not that committed. Can't focus that long.
um,
But it's just closing your eyes for a minute and just taking a deep breath. My next one is finding support. What we're doing right now. This is what we're doing
definitely.
right now, whether it's a mentor or a good friend, a therapist. I can speak on that. You can't do it all alone. Sometimes you just need to have those people or your sounding board in your life that you can call when things start feeling heavy. It just helps you remember that you don't have to carry everything all by yourself, right?
Yeah.
Reframing setbacks as lessons. This is definitely one of my go-tos is that I'm always trying to find a teachable moment from my setbacks. I don't see them as, oh, I failed, but like, okay, even if I'm just being tested and I'm feeling frustrated, I'm like, okay, what is this situation teaching me? What did I do that's not helping me? Did I maybe overcommit? Am I not taking care of myself enough? Am I not sleeping well enough? What's the lesson here? What's the root cause? And then last but not least, celebrating the small wins. This is one that
Yeah.
this is a hill you and I will die on.
Some
Is celebrating the small wins. And I don't need to even elaborate on that, but it could be something as simple as like, you know what? Today I moved. I only got 2,000 steps, or I wrote in my journal today, or I took a shower. Yay. I washed
Yep.
my hair. Th- I don't care. They all count because they all contribute to that thing that's getting you there.
I love it. I love this list. Out of all of these, which one do you lean on the most?
Definitely the reframing setbacks. When I started to
Okay.
see mistakes as information instead of failure, like it helped change everything. How about you?
Well, mine definitely is celebrating the small wins. That's my favorite one, and that's the one that I struggled with at first. It was one of the struggles that I had was like, you set all these goals and you want to reach them, but you have to be careful because sometimes you won't reach them. You have to go in little steps. You can't just say, I didn't finish this goal, but what did you do to get closer to it? And you have to celebrate those little. And that's a really big one for me. And I love all of these, but I guess also the reframing the setbacks as lessons too. Like that's very important because every setback, even some of the ones that feel like it's like the end of the world, what did I do? What did I do wrong? They'll teach you a lot. Maybe not at the moment because you just feel frustrated about it, but they definitely all the setbacks teach you a lesson. So
You
I
know
think
what?
that those are probably my two.
Yeah. That's such a good reminder though, especially
Mhm.
celebrating the small wins.
Yeah.
I think we forget to celebrate ourselves enough. That's just the truth.
Yeah, that to me is a big one. I struggled with that one the most. And I think we've talked about it here too, right?
Mhm.
And that one is very important. Yeah, but you washed your hair,
You
and you
sure.
cleaned your room, and you did laundry, and hey, that
Yeah.
should be a great win. So
Absolutely. Gosh, I'm currently taking classes and it's like I realized that prioritizing my time is a big thing. So again, we've discussed this on the SMART goals, setting the small goals and what did I do? So it's like carving out time, making time to study, I mean, like you, right? You remember all of this.
oh yeah.
You had to prioritize your time. And so we get there. We're going to get there.
Yeah.
Yes.
We will. I want to leave you with this. Starting over is never the end. Well, it kind of could be. It's the end of something, but the beginning of something even better. And resilience is the bridge that gets you from fear to possibility.
Oh, that's beautifully said, Paula. And if you're listening right now, thinking, I don't feel resilient.
Yeah.
Remember this? You've already survived every single hard day up to this moment.
Oh, yeah.
That's proof right there that you have resilience. You've done it before and you can do it again. And it's not going to be the last time.
Take a moment after this episode and ask yourself, what is one time I surprised myself with my own resilience? Write it down, go over it, and don't just think of it and not write it down. I encourage you to write it down because it's very important to put this down on paper and then go over it again, what resilience looks like to you.
Thank you so much for spending this time with us. We hope this conversation helps you feel a little lighter, a little stronger, and ready to embrace your own resilience.
Make sure to follow Rebelize Change on social media and on our website, rebelizechange.com, for more on this and past topics.
And if today's episode spoke to you, share it with a friend who might need a little encouragement too. Until next time, keep being a rebel for change. It's a wrap. It's